Hey everybody, this is LEGO Bionicle's Storm Beast, and he's a bad guy. And he has a very unique build. Kind of looks pretty standard from the front with just a normal humanoid torso, slightly different legs than normal with just a little bit of offset to the rear with the lower legs, but for the most part it looks pretty conventional here. However, around the back things get odd. Things get different. They have a very different build with kind of a tail thing here with a shadow trap built into the end of it, which I think is useful, you know, to actually have something to be able to grab a hero's mask with that, for example. But these linkages are something different. The way those linkages work kind of allows you to use this thing kind of like a puppet, where you grab onto the tail and then you can make stuff happen. You make the arms go up and down. You can also make them go side to side. It's all linked together. I guess it's not the arms going side to side, but the tail goes side to side, and then that makes the arms move in alternate directions. So you can, have different things that you can have happen, and it's pretty smooth. I didn't think that it was going to be this smooth. I thought there were going to be more spots where it would get caught on things, caught on itself at its own limits of motion, but you can really get good control of it here. And you can also still move the tail by itself. It still has a joint in the center, and also the end of it is on a ball joint, so you can rotate that around if you want, spin it around like this, and you've got the ability to close it up. Only closes up on one axis, but you can kind of fake that by arranging this socket joint properly and then just kind of moving the two together. Move that and the joint, basically that the hinge that connects the two halves. So that's just different, right? There's the little bit of kind of custom building that they've done for the lower legs. Once again, it's a shame that they use the red pins, since they still make the black pins in that length, and they make them and use them currently. I don't know why they have to go with the higher contrast here. There's nothing else that can be easily confused with those parts while you're building this, so it really only detracts, I feel, and doesn't add anything. It doesn't help you with the building experience, even if you're relatively new to building. It's still pretty simple. These hands have articulation in that you can take the thumb, move that up and down, and you can move the fingers in and out. You see the hands are built around smaller, modern foot pieces, which is fine. Leaves a little socket joint out here. If you want to use that as an attachment point, you very easily can in several different ways. And back here, you kind of end up having just a long wrist on this thing more than a proper forearm. Once again, red axle there, but this is at the end of a full all direction ball joint, so that can move around quite a bit, and you do get a good amount of articulation there. You can twist it around and hyperextend and flex it, so that works out pretty well. And then the shoulder up above has a normal ball joint. It is kind of angled out towards the front a little bit, which is a good thing for allowing you to move the arm across the body. Not so good for moving it back, but it all works out. You do have some balance issues that come into play depending upon how you set up the tail. If you have the tail down, naturally gravity wants to pull things down, so that helps to stabilize things. But still, if you have a different amount of weight basically acting upon the shoulder joints on one side versus the other, you may see one arm wanting to go down when you don't want it to. So you kind of have to end up balancing things a little bit there. So if I wanted to bring this up, see, it's not wanting to stay up right now, so I would have to change the position, get that to its lowest point, and then, oh, come on, get in there. There we go. You just kind of have to fiddle with that a little bit. So there's good and bad to all of the kind of marionette action you get from back here. I do very much like the color scheme of the head with the dark blue there and the trans neon greenish yellow color, which goes right through into the head, the entire head, including the brain stock piece, if you will. So that just is continuous, right? It's just a continuous gradient. Even though you're looking at 1, 2, 3 pieces there, it all works, I think, and it kind of shows that he's got kind of a crystalline power infused head or skull on the inside. Has a little bit of light, quite a bit of light actually, that comes through the eyes, which works really well. And he just kind of blends back to the yellow color, which extends out towards the rear. You see that the neck is attached in a way that kind of pushes the head forward there, and I think that's fine. On this one, everything is close enough, and with these Borak eye pieces here, it doesn't feel too gappy to me in this case. I think that actually works out. Once again, with the lower jaw not being able to move and being in a color that's not fully black, but then it's not bright either. Depending upon how you look at it, kind of fades into the background, especially with having grays and blacks and kind of medium tones in between on the body behind it. It can just kind of fade away to the point where sometimes you don't fully see the jaw, where it looks kind of disjointed rather than just being open. And you can't really change that very much with the position of it. The head, oops, that's the mask coming off. And you take the mask off, that really doesn't help anything, but the head can be turned upwards and side to side, of course, but it's just limitations to what you can do there. The print on the chest, I think, is fine. Kind of speaks to me to this. It speaks to the crystal pieces that are done in trans light blue on the upper arms with the shapes. Yeah, just the overall shapes. I think that kind of goes together and blends into the trans light blue rib cage piece pretty well. It's a very high contrast color scheme to go with practically opposite ends, almost opposite ends of the color wheel here, but I think it works out overall. Speaking of colors, they did an interesting thing with the alternate mask that's included with this set for Kopaka. They went over to the trans greenish yellow neon color, once again as kind of the fade color on it, which is once again quite opposite, in this case quite opposite to what Kopaka himself is used to. This new one really stands out a lot. And then when you look at the whole thing, you see the trans light blues in there, you see the dark blue, you see the silver. That's all good, but then there's the gold as well, and then the new yellow or greenish yellow color. This just clashes in all sorts of ways. Now, there are different things you could do with the eye. Of course, that's still the same mold, so you can put the little blue stud piece into the eye, and I feel like that works a little bit better. Helps to tie things together a bit. I really feel like the gold armor add-on pieces are still the major issues here, but you could also go with the same color that they've already done and just kind of continue that through as his energy color with this alternate mask color scheme, and then it just kind of owns that color a little bit more. I feel like it needs it somewhere else as well, but if you have extra parts, I think you might actually be able to move him in this color direction more effectively. The Storm Beast build is definitely unique and interesting, and I appreciate that just for the fact that it is different. However, its implementation isn't all that great. What you actually end up getting out of that unique build doesn't seem to be entirely worth it to me, given that you gain this extra frustration of trying to pose it. If you want to get a specific pose, you do have to finagle with it for a while. You kind of have to coax it to do what you want. For just a static pose, I think it works great for play. It looks very lively, but when you want to actually set something up to get a nice picture or just a nice pose on a desk or on a shelf or something, it kind of falls apart. That's about it for my thoughts on this one, though. Please, as always, feel free to share your opinions, including if you disagree with my own opinions. I always look forward to seeing different thoughts from different folks from different perspectives, and other viewers appreciate seeing that as well. So I look forward to your feedback. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.